y'all, this is Whitney Nicely, the broker for Whitney Buys Houses and chief investor at Whitney Properties. Today, I'm going to show you my exact strategy to buy houses with $100. Now, I got to tell you, my goal today is to teach you how to easily and consistently start buying houses in your neighborhood and help you get started towards your path to financial freedom. So please, turn off the book face and quieten the dog because this stuff is going to rock your world. All right, and hopefully everything I'm about to share with you is going to give you a huge shift in your thinking and really help you understand what's actually possible. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll give you a little secret link to grab a free copy of my 10 simple steps to buy a house today. All right, but I don't want to hold things up. I've got a bunch of cool things to talk about. So real quick, the title of this presentation is How to Buy a House with $100. And I might even tell you a few embarrassing stories from my first few deals. All right, first things first. What makes this webinar different from any other Webby that you've watched? Well, I'm not going to pitch you to buy anything at the end. So relax. Keep your credit card in your wallet where it belongs. This is not that kind of presentation. All right, good. Now you're probably a little bit more curious about who I am and why I'm qualified to teach people to buy houses. Well, in the last 3 years, I've completed over 50 real estate deals without using my license, a bank, my credit, or any real money. And I'll also tell you that I am heavily licensed in Tennessee and Georgia, as you can see. But out of all of my deals, I decided to keep 19 of those houses, 19 apartments, and a bunch of random land across East Tennessee. And that's why I coach now. I mean, seriously, my favorite part of real estate is negotiating the deals. So I like to work with my students and help to make sure that they're making big money also. And honestly, it gets kind of boring just waiting on those rent checks to come in every month. All right, but it wasn't always rainbows and unicorns for me. All right, remember, I was a newbie with nothing 3 short years ago. And some of you probably know this story, but when I first started, I didn't exactly hit it out of the park on my first try. And that's shocking, I know. And I'll tell you too that I don't usually go into this much detail, but you guys really need to hear about my beginning, about the beginning of this journey for me. All right. I was trying. I was going to seminars. I was going to boot camps. I was listening to CDs, pitching on the phone, going to sellers' houses. I was running around crazy, basically just determined to make this thing work and running off adrenaline with dollar signs in my eyes. And then it happened. My boyfriend busted my bubble. And guys, I'll never forget the drop in altitude that I felt. We were on the phone one night while I was at yet another real estate seminar. And I was rattling on and on and on about all the great new exciting things that I'd learned that day in class when he said to me, "Whit, you clearly have church camp mentality. No one is going to work with you. Nobody needs someone to buy their house this way. It won't work. You've wasted your time and your money on this wild goose chase. It's time to give it up and come back home." Guys, I hope I don't have to tell you how much that hurt me. I mean, this is my boyfriend we're talking about. This is the guy that I secretly planned on. I hadn't told him, but I told a couple of my girlfriends, but I was planning on marrying him, all right? I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with him and build this portfolio with him by my side. It was completely unreal, and I went to bed that night totally conflicted, and I got to tell you, it absolutely sucked. And I tell you that story because a lot of you are in a spot like this right now, where someone in your life is giving you extra doses of the negative Nancy's, or they're trying to keep your feet grounded with their Debbie Downer comments. It's about time you told them to shove off. All right, you have hopes and dreams of becoming a hotshot real estate investor, and I know that you can do it. Take a second here and just imagine what your life would be like if once you know how to buy these houses with just $100 in your spare time. And imagine what it's like to collect 5 or 6 figure paydays from minimal amounts of work. All right, now imagine just for a second how amazing it would feel to shove your first big real estate check in your boss's face as you march out the door. Or, okay, maybe you're classier than I am, and you would just ever so casually pick up the tab next time you're at dinner with all these party pooper friends who are doubting your house buying abilities. Can you see the look on their face? But ignore them for a second. What about the look on your mom's face when you buy her a new house? Or the look on your kids' faces when you're able to give them the most magical vacation they've ever imagined? Or you're able to send them to a fancy private school now that you can afford it without worrying about tuition? Guys, what is your life going to look like a year from now when you're making $10,000 a month easily and consistently? And what's your life going to look like in 3 years? All right. Maybe then we can actually start to think about that elusive creature called retirement. You know what I mean? All right. Well, stick with me, champ. I'll help you get there. And hopefully, I'll help you get there faster than I did, and maybe even a little bit easier. All right. Because during my whole journey here, I've done a lot of things right, but Lord knows I've done a lot of things wrong. And, like buying this house. This is one of my very first deals. It had squishy floors like a sponge, and there were fleas everywhere. My brother Tyler begged me not to buy it, but I'm kind of stubborn, so I did. And it was the most disgusting place I'd ever been in at the time. I've been in some gross places since then, So over the last 8 years, I've been through lots of real estate transactions as the investor, the flipper, the buyer, and the seller. And I've learned quite a few tricks and tidbits to help you along your journey. Unless you're a stubborn mule and you want to suffer through it the hard way yourself. Do you? Do you want real estate income through the long, hard, winding road? Or do you want a shortcut to your real estate advantage? This right here, lease options, that is the key to trimming years off your learning curve. You have to master lease options. So real quick, what is a lease option? Well, very simply put, it is a really fancy lease agreement that you have with the seller of a property. And in that same paperwork that you sign that they're going to sell it to you or lease it to you, they're also agreeing to sell you the property. And finally, a lease option gives you the ability to make payments and close sometime in the future. All the while, you're making payments and owing less and less money to the seller every single month. Now, lease options are also called rent to own. Sometimes it's a lease with option to purchase, and sometimes maybe even some people will confuse it with owner financing. But basically, it's the shortcut to the riches you deserve. Does that make sense? Well, I'm going to go over it a little bit more, so stick with me here. All right, now in the beginning, I gave you a snapshot into my portfolio and my track record to date, but please understand that I'm not telling you that to impress you, but really to impress upon you that 3 years ago, I had nothing. And you can go from getting started to cash flowing a real estate portfolio in just a few months. It's all possible. All right, now during this presentation, I'm going to cover 3 core secrets, and I want you taking notes. All right, now this is just a preview slide, so I'll go into lots of detail in a minute, all right? Secret number 1, I'm going to show you the one thing that will allow you to consistently buy houses for $100. You can and should do real estate deals like I'm going to show you every single day, or at the bare minimum, once per month. And most people want to do real estate because they want more money and they want it without having to clock into a job every day. I mean, that's the reason why we invest in real estate, am I right? We want more money. All right, so that's secret number 1. Now, secret number 2, and I want you to understand that you can afford to buy houses because you don't need a bunch of money to buy these houses. You don't need a trust fund or a hefty down payment that takes years to save just to become a real estate investor. All right, whatever goal it is that you have or whatever it is that you're wanting to get out of real estate investing, it's not that far away. In fact, the last 3 houses that I bought, I just gave the seller $100. And I know you've got $100 to get started in real estate, right? All right, now, secret number 3, you only need a few motivated sellers to make this work. That's right, this is going to work in your market, even your hot sellers market. Because anywhere that you have houses and you have people, this is going to work. I'll show you what I mean and how this process looks similar across the country. And guys, it's way easier to get these lease option deals than you think. I really want you to understand that from the beginning. And yes, okay, I'll admit it. The first one is hard, but I don't know how many of you tried to break into real estate and like investing already, but the first one is the hardest. And it really took me 2 or 3 months to start to see my action gaining traction out there. But once I did the first one, then I could do it over and over and over again. And I'm going to show you that process as well. Oh, and I have a special bonus for you tonight. So those are the 3 secrets, but I want you to know that I'm going to do a live house hunt tonight. And guys, seriously, as we go through this, post your questions or your aha moments there in the chat box, okay? I'm here to help you, but you have to let me know what it is that I said that you don't understand so that I can help you. All right. So my first lease option deal where I made the $15,000 out in 8 weeks, you want to know about that, don't you? So the couple that lived here, they wanted to move pretty quickly, and they agreed to let me buy the house for what they owed on it and make payments to the bank for the next 5 years for them. I turned around and found someone who wanted to move to the area, but they couldn't buy anything until their old house sold. They wanted to rent the house from me for as long as it took. And you can imagine how excited all of us were when their house closed in 8 weeks and they could buy this one. And that's how I got the first $15,000 check. All right, but let me tell you another quick little story. This is Sherry Williams, and she's been working with me since January. Well, right before my first weekend workshop, she got a contract to buy this vacation rental house with a lease option. Y'all, I am thrilled to tell you that she is bringing in $10,000 a month off her very first deal. And I don't know about you, but if a newbie can go from working 80 hours a week to adding $10,000 a month to her income every single month with one little deal, I would want to know everything I can about that process. You know what I mean? I mean, that's some pretty good stuff. And guys, I got to tell you that that's possible. And it's the same for a lot of us. A lot of us are trying to get to that $10,000 a month. In fact, my little story started pretty similar. I was like most of you, and I wanted to be a real estate investor, but I wasn't sure how to do it. And guys, I really stumbled at first with this new way of buying houses. I mean, I was a trucker girl. I sold dump trucks. Yeah, I had a real estate license, but I'd only used it once, and I barely made $1,200 on my first listing. It was absolutely pathetic. And like I said, I made some mistakes, especially when I was starting out investing. But those mistakes and the disasters that I went through, I learned from those situations so that I can help people like you do this yourself. And guys, nothing is worse than getting all this real estate information and not being able to use it out in the real world. But anyway, back to when I got started. I had gotten a few bites on my new plan, but I hadn't seen any money. And so that's when the fears came in. I was doubting myself. I had a shit ton of questions, which meant that my confidence was slipping. And I realized that I needed some accountability and someone to practice this strategy with. I wasn't really comfortable with all the information I had. I mean, does anybody know how that feels? Is there anything that I missed? Are any of you feeling this way right now? Throw it in the chat box. If there's any kind of fears or apprehensions that I missed, if I missed them on this slide, I promise you I did not miss them in real life. So the only thing that I knew to do to overcome this was to throw myself back into another boot camp to learn even more about lease options. And I did go to Ron LeGrand School in Jacksonville, Florida. I went 4 different times in 1 year. That's a lot of time in Florida to go to school. But while I was at the second workshop, I hired John Lonnatti to be my mentor and guide me through the first 6 months of real estate investing with lease options. And guys, he didn't come cheap at $15,000, but it was an investment that I knew I needed to get the job done on a tight timeline. And 2 weeks after I got home, I landed my first seller contract. 8 weeks after that, I was grinning ear to ear, jumping up in front of a house and holding a big $15,000 check. And that's the deal that I just told you about. In fact, that story and my next deal are in Ron's book, The Less I Do, The More I Make. Maybe some of you have that book. But anyway, I had my mentoring investment back in Hip National Bank, and I was really ready to roll. 3 weeks later, I had another check for $8,000. Then another check came in for $5,000. Then another one for $10,000. All in all, I did 14 deals in my first year, averaging over $10,000 a month. And I know what you're thinking. Who cares if Whitney can do it? I mean, that doesn't help you at all, right? But guys, I'm just a regular person, all right? Every expert was once a beginner, and it wasn't that long ago that I was a beginner. You can totally do this. Now, let me tell you another story about one of my students. This is Aliman, and he tried to do a deal for over a year. He came to my last weekend workshop, and within a month, he closed 2 deals. He made enough money on the first deal that he was able to buy another house free and clear. And actually, truth be told, after buying the second house, he still had a $1,000 check in his pocket. I mean, can you imagine making enough money to buy a house without a loan and walk away from the closing table with money to spare? Yeah, totally possible. And I want to tell you Sherry and Al's story for a couple reasons. I want you to understand that it's not just me, all right? This isn't the Whitney Show. This is happening all the time. And these are people like you. And if you can just see that and believe it, it really becomes tangible and you'll know that you'll be able to do it too. Also, you don't have to be an extrovert or a real estate professional. Like, you don't need a license to buy houses. In fact, that's the reason a lot of my students have picked me, because they are shy in front of strangers and they wanted someone to teach them how to do deals without feeling huge amounts of pressure. So it's people just like you. And yes, there's a few crazy loud people just like me. But anyways, it is real people with real goals living real lives, and they are taking my lessons and turning it into their real estate advantage in life. Here's another lady in California, Ashley. She joined my one-on-one program last month, and she already has 2 deals under contract. In fact, on Saturday, this past weekend, she got a text from a seller who had originally told her no how, no way. But things had changed, and now the seller wants to talk to her more about putting a lease option on their house. I mean, every week, 1 or 2 or 3 of my students are sending me messages, pictures, screenshots. They've got contracts signed, their records are being broken, their confidence is soaring. Guys, their fears are diminishing, their goals are being achieved, and they're getting those big checks. Oh gosh, I got a lot more of these testimonials than I thought I did. Hang on a second. Oh man, maybe I should take some of these out. There's my friends in Florida getting a duplex. Here's Ashley saying she talked to somebody else who's open to terms. There's Al saying he just needs to get more deals done. All right, and there's Gary. All right, whew, made it all the way through them. All right, so I have mentioned lease options a couple times here and there, but let me break it down for you just a little bit more, okay? Because lease options are the one thing that you need that's going to allow you to consistently buy houses for $100. All right, so let's talk about lease options. Imagine someone has a house that they don't want anymore. And they don't want it anymore for maybe a couple different reasons, but they basically don't want to take the time to list it, or they don't have the money to fix it, or they just don't want to spend the energy to find a tenant for it. All right, it's just easier for them to make the monthly payment and forget about it. And honest to goodness, guys, these people exist. All right, so I find these people and they let me start making their payments and agree to buy it for what they owe on it and close maybe 5 or 10 or 15 years into the future. All right, and then I find somebody in the area who have, they usually have some bad credit, or they're new to my market, or maybe they're small business owners, okay? And we're gonna call these people tenant buyers. So when they decide to buy this house from me, they give me move-in money, they pay more rent than what my mortgage payment is every single month, and they buy it for what it's worth instead of what my seller sold it to me for, which is what they owe on it. All right, that's kind of a sandwich lease option in a nutshell. So who wants to learn how they can make money 3 different ways? I mean, tell me yes, yes, yes in the comments. Yes, 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 yes. Everybody wants to make more money. I mean, show me the money. That's how you do it, guys, with lease options. Those are the 3 ways that you can make money. It's the move-in money, $10,000, $15,000, $40,000 when somebody moves into this house. It's the extra money that they pay you every month, and it's the difference between what you owe on it and what it's worth for a back-end payday. I love lease options. Okay, but let me tell you about my first little wholesale deal. Okay, and lease options are not wholesaling. My first, last, and only wholesale deal started with a seller calling me, and she originally wanted $100,000 for an apartment complex with 10 units. And guys, I was absolutely ecstatic because I just closed an 11 unit for $225,000. So I went to look at the property, and it was in a war zone. Then I looked up the history of the property, and it was bad. I did a little bit more digging and found out that she owed almost $5,000 in back taxes. Ugh, it was bad. So I called her back and gave her a very lowball offer at $10,000. Well, you can imagine that she wouldn't have it. All right. She called me everything under the sun except a nice, sweet lady, if you know what I mean. But that was fine. And I didn't think another thing about it until she called me a month later and said that she would take $10,000. What? She went from $100,000 to $10,000 in less than a month. All right, cool. So we signed the contract for $10,000 and I was on cloud nine until I dug a little bit deeper into the research and found out that the apartment complex was condemned. And it was due to be torn down in 2 weeks. Like WTF. I mean, she could have told me last month that it was condemned. But anyways, the clock was really counting down to when the bulldozers would be charging in, and I had to act fast. So I ran downtown and started flirting with every codes inspector that I could find. And guys, I don't teach this strategy, okay? This is just what I did to get the deal done. But it worked. I got a 90-day extension on the condemned list. I can't say condemnation. But then I found out that the property had a crappy title. All right, not a deal breaker, but definitely a showstopper for me. Okay, so up until this point, I was thinking about buying these 10 units and flipping them myself for a big old honking payday. Yes, I was thinking about buying the condemned apartment complex in a war zone where I wouldn't go by myself. All right, call me crazy. Wouldn't be the first time. But once I realized that the title wasn't pristine, I thought I'd be clever and give this whole wholesaling thing a little bit of a go. I mean, why not? So I posted it on Craigslist and Zillow for $15,000. I mean, it needed a lot of work, guys. And some dude out of Baltimore went crazy over it. He absolutely fell head over heels in love with this dump. He said that he'd give me $13,000 in 2 weeks when he got to town. And yeah, I'll hold my breath on that. But it was the best situation I had at the time, and he did show up with a check. The lady was able to find a title company to close this thing, and I collected $3,000. And guys, I'm telling you this because it wasn't worth it. Lease options are so much easier to find, and you make so much better money with them. So lease options boil down to 2 different things: what and how. And guys, when I was in my first year, I really needed to master what kind of houses I was looking to buy and how I could buy these things without going to the bank, without putting my savings on the line, and without risking my credit. What and how. Now, most sellers and almost every American in general, we've all been brainwashed to think that the only way to buy and sell real estate is with bankers or cold hard cash. And it just isn't true. Lease option deals are in your market, but you have to learn how to sniff them out. So how do we do this? Well, in this phase, we're really going to be trying to figure out what houses to buy and what offers to make. You've got to figure out your presentation. You've got to know how to walk through the first conversation with the seller, how to set up the appointment, how to walk the property, and how to present offers beginning from the moment you get out of your car. Nobody likes to wait until they get to the kitchen table to have a hard negotiation. You got to start that early. All right. And guys, I can't cover everything that I've learned in the last 8 years in this short amount of time. So I'm just trying to get to as much as I can. But, if you do what I do, if you'll do what I teach you to do and, what I do, you're going to consistently be making offers every single week. For 2 or 3 months, just try it and try it and try it, and you're going to figure it out. You'll know what to say and when to say it. You're going to know who to say it to and how to solve their problems. You're going to learn how to be leading the conversation towards a sale. Now, earlier when I told you the story about Jason breaking my heart, guys, the worst part of it was that I'd already done a few deals and I knew it was possible. I was just in a little bit of a valley. And Jason didn't fully understand what I was offering these sellers and how I was helping them. But I was determined to make this work and grow it to be bigger, better, and badder than any real estate investing strategy he'd ever imagined. And just a little side note, we are married now, and I serve him a little bit of this every day for breakfast. Just keeping it real. But anyway, back to this awful conversation. I woke up to a renewed energy to actually make this lease option thing happen. And I realized that so far, I'd only been talking to sellers who lived in their house and needed to move quickly. Guys, I was missing a huge part of the market. So I opened up my elevator pitch to include people who had inherited properties and just didn't live near them. Absentee owners. Ooh, I hit the jackpot. All right, but I signed up to host a booth at a local small business expo one weekend. And guys, I left that 2-day event with over 30 hot leads. I was onto something. I'd figured out what kinds of houses and what kinds of sellers I needed to talk to and how I could easily, confidently, and consistently make offers on their houses. And all in all, I bought 4 of those houses. I made over $25,000 from one weekend of quote unquote work. And it really gave me the springboard to jump into more and more deals, all the while getting better and better and better with my speech, my determination, and my enthusiasm to make this thing happen. I'd cracked the code on what to buy and how to buy it. And that's the real secret to number 1. All right. You barely need to invest 10 to 15 hours a week to become a successful real estate investor. And in some markets, you can do it in less time than that. But I know you're in a really special situation with a hot seller's market, and it's going to be way more difficult. Yeah, I'm going to get to you in a minute when we get to secret number 3. As I got to tell you, though, it was a lease option that saved me from staying in a regular old job and from staying in that regular real estate rat race of chasing the clear to close and listing houses. Guys, these big $10,000, $15,000, or $40,000 option fees, they're no joke, all right? They come in pretty fast and pretty strong, and they can keep your boat floating for long droughts if you allocate them appropriately. And guys, even like if I get in a tight spot now, I know that all I need to do is go get another house, buy another house, and I'll be back in action. Or even if I'm not in a tight spot, let's just say I want to go on an extra vacation or 2. All I got to do is go buy another house. I got to go do another deal so that I can keep living and I won't have to miss out on anything going on in my life. Another really cool thing about lease options is that you're not only helping yourself and your family, you're helping your future. Yeah, that's true. But you're helping your neighbors and your town and your whole slice of the world. You can get lease options on houses. You can buy houses without needing a bunch of money. All you got to do is shift your mindset that this is going to happen and you can get that first one done. After that, you know it's all totally possible. And let's be clear, you might not clear $10,000 tomorrow because this isn't a get rich quick kind of situation. But once you figure out the what and how, you're going to be landing deals all day, every day. All right, though, let's get on with secret number 2. You don't need a bunch of money to buy houses. I mean, what if I told you could do a deal like I did with just $1,000? Would that make you excited? Well, what if I told you that you could do these deals with $500 invested? Is that even more enticing? All right, well, buckle your seatbelts because what if I told you could do this deal with $100, like one little Benjamin, and you could buy a house? And the crowd goes wild. All right, guys. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You only need $100. I mean, is your mind blown right now? Because that's seriously how much it takes to buy a house today. And I'll tell you, honestly, I've bought houses with a $10 check, but I don't teach that anymore. I teach $100 because It's kind of ridiculous to buy a house for 10 bucks, isn't it? $100 is a much more stable number. So I want you to understand that you can afford to buy houses because it only takes $100. I mean, whatever your goal is or whatever it is that you want out of real estate investing, it's really not that far away. And I'm going to show you. All right. I want you to understand that your first deal is out there right now and it's waiting on you. And you don't need a big old chunk of change to go get it. It's cool too how, most of my students, they only need the right amount of tweaking in their calls with sellers. They only need the right amount of practice in their presentations. And they only need just a small little dose of confidence to go on these appointments and get the deals done so that they're making better offers and cashing bigger checks. All right, you don't need a bunch of money to buy houses. You don't need really any money at all. What you need is time and tactics, and probably some other T word like a tic tac or something. I don't even know. But let's just transition over to secret number 3. You only need a few motivated sellers to make this thing work because it's gonna work in your market, even if you're in that hot sellers market. Because anywhere that you have houses and you have people, this is gonna work. And it's way easier to get these lease option deals without any money involved than you might think. And guys, seriously, I want you to understand that. All you have to do is figure out the process that we talked about in secret number 1. And once you know what kind of sellers you need and how you can buy their houses, the transition comes with ease. And then it's on like Donkey Kong. All right, so let me tell you my 3 favorite states to do these deals. Naturally, my favorite state is home sweet home to me. And no, I'm not going to sing Rocky Top, but this is Clay. He's one of my one-on-one students in Tennessee. He's actually in my market. And I mean, I'm training people right here in my backyard because there's so many deals. There's so many deals. I can't buy them all. So I'm training other people how to go out and buy houses and help these sellers. All right. But what was really cool about Clay is that he was used to going out and house hunting all the time, and it was wearing him out. So we worked together and I taught him how to become the go-to person in his little area, in his zip code, in his slice of Knoxville, so that anytime anybody wanted to sell a house quickly, they called Clay. He's doing absolutely amazing. Now, my second favorite state to buy houses is Georgia. This is Christina. She's actually an agent in Georgia, and she started with owner financing and then selling on lease options. So she found this house from a Facebook post. A Facebook post, guys. If you're spending a whole bunch of money on marketing, you're wasting your money. Okay, Clay's figured out how to make his phone ring, and Christina has figured out how to use Facebook to get the leads coming in. Now, the third best state to do these deals is Alabama. Bobby joined my group program a couple Sundays ago, and by Wednesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he had a deal under contract. All right, and even though he's in the group program, he was such an action taker, and I absolutely adore action takers. So I hopped on the phone with him to do a quick call to make sure everything was good and everything was rolling smoothly and he understood the process. And I just wanted to, kind of put my hands on the situation to make sure it was good. Y'all, he sent me a text message the next day and he was like, Whitney, you're not going to believe this. I think after talking to you and going back and re-looking at the property, I think I might make an extra $20,000 or $30,000 on this deal. Holy crap, y'all. That is absolutely amazing. An extra $20,000 or $30,000 that he's going to make from a 30-minute conversation with me. Oh, I love helping my students. And just in case you are outside of the country watching this, this is Zoe. She's in Costa Rica. And just last Saturday, she sent me this message that her and her boyfriend have got a house that they're buying in Costa Rica using my strategies and my tools to get the job done. This is so much fun. I love helping people buy houses. And just in case you are in California, I have students in California. This is Glenn, and him and Ashley, Lorraine, a bunch of my other California students have figured out that it's easier to be in California and buy houses in other markets. So they're virtually putting lease options on houses. Glenn is working on deals in Ohio and Texas. Ashley is working on deals in Colorado. So even if you're in California, you can still learn how to do these deals, even if you're in like a crazy, crazy hot seller's market where like most people aren't investing. And speaking of California, it's time to do our live house hunting. I'm so excited. James is on the line. He called me earlier and he wanted to talk about a deal, but I told him to wait until this presentation so that I could teach everybody what I was looking at and how we get these deals done. So, James, are you there? Hold on, maybe we need to share screens. James? Oh, you're muted. Okay, hold on just a second. Oh, there you are. Unmute.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you've got a deal in California, or you've got a start to a deal that we're going to see if we can make a deal?
Yeah. So, I mean, originally I contacted you. I was talking to you about the house that I rent right now, and you were saying that it's possible that I could maybe work out something with the landlord.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because one of the ladies that I have in Texas, actually, she went through the program, and the only reason she went through was so that she could find herself a house. So yes, absolutely. If you're renting or you have kind of questionable credit right now and you aren't sure you want to be an investor, but you do want to buy your own house without going through the banks, absolutely. Good point. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. But in the meantime, I tried putting up a Facebook post like you talk about in the lead challenge thing that I got from you. And I had a friend of mine actually contact me about a house that they inherited from their aunt who passed away. So that's the one that I kind of wanted to talk to you about today to get some more info, if we could, because you wanted to go through the process of.
Okay, awesome. So we're looking on Zillow.
Yeah, so it's I'm on Zillow, and it's I live in California, and the house is in Oxnard, California. So I just pulled up the city, and then it's right here.
Okay. Hang on just a second for me. Do me one quick little favor. When you're looking at Zillow like this, one thing that really helps is if you see those red and blue dots up at the top, you see them? Yep, right. Up.
Oh, here. Yeah. Here.
Listing type. Yeah, click that.
Okay.
Okay, and then uncheck potential listings. And that way we're only going to be looking at the for sale by owners, and that gets rid of all those pesky little agents.
Oh, cool.
Because one thing that I talk about a lot in the program is I have 3 deal breakers. One is I want empty houses. The second one is I want houses that are not listed, that are not on the MLS. And I want houses that are current on their payments. Okay, so if you're behind on payments, I'm not dealing with you. If you're listed, I'm not dealing with you. And if somebody's living in the house, I'm not dealing with you. All right, so this is just a real quick shortcut to finding some for sale by owners.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
No, that's great. It's good to know. So you want me to click on the listing here?
Yeah.
Okay.
The 1.3? No, the 409. Okay.
No, yeah. I don't have that handy.
I'm going to say, we'll knock it out of the park. All right. Gosh, that thing's been up for 77 days, though. Maybe we should look at the 1.3, too. No. Stay on topic. Keep me on topic.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is the house. So my friend contacted me, and it's their aunt's house who passed away. And they've inherited the house. I guess there are people in it right now because I think she was renting it or something. I don't know. I don't really know.
Will you make it bigger? Will you click on that 409? I'm just getting the summary right now.
Oh, you're not seeing the whole window here?
No.
Oh, that's weird.
Did it go somewhere else maybe?
Is this, can you see? Now I've got the whole page up.
No, not on this screen. Is it on a different screen? Oh, there we got action. Click on the picture. To the right, to the right. Yep. There we go. All right, very good. Okay. So this house, okay, it looks good. Yeah, it looks empty. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so this is your friend's aunt's house?
Yeah, so she passed away and my friend inherited it, and they responded to the post that they're interested in maybe getting rid of it. So I guess I just don't really know what I'm looking for yet, or like what kind of steps I'm supposed to take next.
Okay, so I have a seller lead sheet in the program, and it'll help you walk through, I've got 10 questions that you really need to ask, but the main 2 questions that you have to know before we can decide, is this the right kind of motivated seller for us, is, besides those 3, making sure it's not a deal breaker, but, how much do they owe on the house? What's the monthly payment? And why do they want to sell it? So I guess 3 questions. How much do they owe? What's the monthly payment? And why do they want to sell it?
Okay. I'm pretty sure that if my friend gave me all the right info, I believe the house was actually paid off, so they don't owe anything on it.
Well, that's perfect. Okay.
And they will want to get rid of it, obviously, because I guess, like you were saying earlier, they don't want to deal with the probate stuff, and they're not really interested in owning more property, so they just inherited it from the aunt. So.
Okay, so this is a perfect opportunity for you to get a lease option on this house, because you can. You can agree to pay like what, $409, that's what they're asking. Oh, holy, at this point, the Zestimate is actually working in our favor. Usually I hate the Zestimate. Every agent I know, we hate the Zestimate because it's either really right or really wrong. And in this case, it's playing to our favor though, but it still makes me kind of nervous to go on the Zestimate. But anyway, let's say that
why is that?
Well, the Zestimate is just a made up number. I mean, as an agent, when I sell something on Zillow, I can manually input the sales price. So it's to my best interest as an agent to say, hey, I bought this house, or I sold this house for the list price. That keeps me in the high rankings on Zillow, and it makes me look good to my sellers that I got the list price. Whereas, maybe if I did list it for $495, maybe I took $425 or $450 for it. But when I entered it into Zillow, I could put anything into it I wanted. The Zestimate is not a comp. It's not based on facts. Now, good agents, they'll put in the right price, but it'll hurt their Zillow rankings.
Okay.
Human error, maybe.
Okay. All right. So that's good.
This one's really good though, because let's say that it is worth $495 and you can buy it for $409. If you can buy it for $409 and start making a payment, let's just use $1,500 because that's what they've given us here. Mm-hmm. That's an awesome way for every month when you make that payment, that $1,500 goes towards your principal every single month. And this house needs a little bit of updating. I can see the kitchen picture up there. So don't give him any money down. And we can just start making him these payments in 3 months. And even in a hot seller's market, there's no agent in town that's going to walk in and say, hey, I will guarantee you $409, and if not, I'll start making the payments in 3 months. Like, agents don't just start making the payments. So when you come in and start saying that, you're going to be winning ahead of other investors and ahead of other agents, ahead of all sorts of people.
Okay. And so why 3 months? Why am I telling you in 3 months for the first payment?
Well, I like to get 3 months because it usually takes about 30 days to get the market good and warmed up. Even in a hot market, sometimes things get overlooked, or, every 6 weeks in America, we have a holiday. So there's always this roller coaster of people paying attention to the market and not. But then the second 30 days is really making sure that we're finding qualified tenants that are going to take care of the house and make the payments and, cash us out, actually get a mortgage on it. And those last 30 days, I use those and blame it on my attorney, because my attorney, I don't know about yours, but my attorney's pretty famous for just up and going on a vacation and I can't get a deal done for a couple weeks. So
okay.
for 90 days.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay, so I go to my friend and I say, I want to buy your house for 409.9. I will start making the mortgage payments in 90 days for $15.15 a month. Because I went to the house, it's empty, it looks fine, it doesn't look like there's too many updates, like you were saying maybe the kitchen needed to, so I'd have to look at that in person, I guess. But barring like any major changes or upgrades that needed to be done, I just go and say, hey, let me take over the mortgage payments for $1,500 a month and for the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, this one's free and clear, but yes, if there was a mortgage, you would basically be saying that, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then what do I do? So then what do I do to make the money on the house? Then I'm going to rent the house out for more money?
Yeah, you're going to do the lease option on it like we talked about earlier. So you'll find somebody that's going to give you money to move in, and they're going to pay you maybe $2,000, maybe $2,100 to rent this house from you.
Okay.
And they'll give you maybe $450.
Okay.
So that you're going to make money when they move in. You're going to make about $500 a month if we're using these numbers, and you'll make about $40,000 when they go to get a mortgage.
Okay.
So you're making money 3 different ways.
Awesome.
I love lease options. I love it. And this is a perfect example. In fact, that 1.3 that had been up for 77 days, we might just make them an offer too, because rich people got problems too.
Excellent. All right. Well, I guess I need to get back in touch with my friend and then talk to you some more later.
Absolutely.
All right.
Let me know what I can do to help.
Thanks, Whitney. I appreciate it.
All right. Let's see. Are you screen sharing or am I? Oh, dear. I got the wrong thing up. Okay, let me go back to my slides real quick. Let me see. Where did the slides go? Okay, and we're back. All right, so let me ask you a question. Are you willing to look silly for about $10,000? I mean, and just a little bit silly. And the reason I ask this is because a lot of people, when they first get started, they don't actually want to get started because they're afraid they're going to look silly. Guys, you know that in and of itself is keeping you from $10,000, right? This is one of my favorite sayings right now. And sorry, guys, yes, she believed she could, so she did. Like, even if you're a guy, I want you to, like, hold on to that. If you think you can do this, if you think you can become a real estate investor and you believe that you can, you will do it. And that is the hardest hurdle to get over, is in your own mind. All right, so for the past little bit, would you agree it's been time well spent so far? And as I've said, I can't cover everything in an hour. So I've got a special offer so that you can get everything you need to know. And if you act fast, I'm going to give you even like a super duper special deal. So old habits die hard, and I get that. You're an adult. You've got pride. You don't want to start talking to sellers. You don't want to look foolish. You don't really want to look silly. But come on, guys, you're going to be thrilled with the opportunities that are going to just start falling in your lap once you really understand and start to love and appreciate lease options in the way that I do. And you start using your real estate advantage to your advantage. Right now, there's sellers in your market and their houses are money in your pocket, but you're afraid of looking silly, so you won't go after those. And guys, you can't live like that anymore. You need your real estate advantage. You need to talk to me. You need to get started in lease options. You need to get started on your portfolio. And guys, even like, what I said with James, even if you don't really want to be an investor, but you want to buy your own house or, move out of your mom's basement, or maybe you want to get into apartments, whatever it is that you want to do, you can do that, but you have to get started. Okay. So some of the people that this has worked for are real estate agents. A lot of my, especially lady students, they're real estate agents and they're just tired of chasing that clear to close. They're tired of working and being underappreciated. All right. Wholesalers who were preparing to go back to their job and they had one last hope of getting a deal done. Also, newbie investors, a lot of the guys that I work with are in that corporate 9 to 5. They love their corporate job. They've been climbing the ladder. They just want to start this on the side. And that's totally fine. Okay. You don't have to quit your job to go full-time investing with my plan, with your real estate advantage. Okay. You can do it part-time or on the side. And if you're an established investor, or maybe it's been 10 or 15 years since you've dipped your toe in the investing water, this is also amazing for you. All right. I built your real estate advantage for people just like you who want to get started, or they want to get restarted, or they want to learn how to put an extra tool in their tool belt. All right. But guys, when I was making your real estate advantage, I had 2 choices. And the first option is that I can make it super duper cheap and, skimp over a lot of the good meat and potatoes of it. Or I could just completely brain dump and give you everything that I know, every strategy, every contract, every system, every way to find off-market properties, everything that I knew to do to get a deal under contract. And so that's what I chose. All right. I went with the second option because it is a little bit more expensive. But guys, this is real estate. You're going to be buying houses for $100. Not putting your life savings on the line and not doing any bank financing or paying crazy origination fees. Okay. And if you sign up tonight, I'm going to give you my weekend workshop, which is a $15,000 value. If you book a call with me tonight, just book a call with me. The call is totally free, okay? Once we get on the call, if you want to get started with me, I'm going to give you my weekend workshop for free. For free. But it's limited to 20 people, so you need to book a call with me. We need to talk through this stuff. All right, and here's a picture of my last workshop. I've got a couple pictures stacked up there, actually. Can I get to these others? Oh, no, oh, no. Oh, no. All right, well, here's one picture. Sorry, you can't see the others, but that's me. That's the crew that was with me at the last weekend workshop, and you can ask all of these lovely, smiling, happy people how much they learned and how much they enjoyed this workshop. And guys, this house that we looked at, we made an offer on this house. Like when we go on this weekend workshop together, we're going to be making deals happen. That's what's going on at my weekend workshop. All right, so if you book a call with me tonight, I'm also going to give you an hour consultation, which is a $1,000 value, okay? We're going to deep dive into your deals. Maybe you have some deals going on right now, and even in a hot seller's market, they're just kind of sitting, they're just kind of flat, and you're getting kind of worried and nervous. We're going to talk about those. Or, after the weekend workshop, maybe you have some questions that come up. That's totally fine. I love questions because I've got lots of answers. And if I don't have the right answers, then once you're in the group with me, once you're one of my real estate investing rock stars, an REI rock star, I've got 5 other REI coaches. So that if I'm not the expert on what you're talking about, if it's not a lease option situation, then we'll grab one of the other experts and ask them. I've got an apartment expert. Y'all know I don't like wholesaling, so I've got a wholesaling expert. I've got a retirement expert. So if you got a self-directed IRA or a 401k, I've got people in there that are going to help you. Oh, vacation rentals. I've got a vacation rental millionaire also in my program, so that if you have any questions about, Airbnb or VRBO or, any of that kind of stuff, we can help you. We've got the answers to your questions. So let me ask you this. What is one deal worth to you? I mean, if you can get one house and you could get it this week and you can make 5 or 10 or 25,000, heck, maybe you'll get one of those $40,000 option fees like I got. And remember, guys, when I say I got $40,000 in an option fee, I still got money per month. All right. And I still got money when they got a mortgage. I'm going to make so much money on that deal. And you might be in a market, this is on a $100,000 house. You might be in a market where you can't buy anything for 100 or 200,000. That means you're going to be looking at getting 50 or 60 or $90,000 option fees. Holy Toledo, guys. That is amazing. And it's totally possible. And a lot of you, you're paying to get motivated sellers through Zillow or through some kind of on-carrot or investor carrot, or you're paying some guru somewhere who's not actually delivering the goods. I'm going to show you how to get those leads for free, or darn close to free. Okay? You don't need to be paying these big bucks just for a lead generating system. There's other ways to do it. And I'm including all of this, and so I hope you can see why others are paying me big bucks to teach them the real and really effective real estate marketing methods that are working for me and working for my students all across the country. So if you're able to list, or maybe you do like wholesaling, or maybe you want to buy an extra house every week just using these strategies, then this little investment is going to pay off for the rest of your career. This isn't a fee. This isn't just schooling. This is an investment in your future. And guys, I got to tell you, I valued, the Real Estate Advantage, your Real Estate Advantage, and the weekend workshop, and all the freebies I'm going to give you, because I've got 11 other bonuses that I'm going to give you, and I valued it over $30,000. And I want to tell you that I'm going to sell this for 10 grand. 10 grand. I mean, 10 grand is what I charge for my one-on-one students, and they pay me. No problem. We're getting deals done too. But because you're special and you've been with me on this webinar, I'm going to make you a special offer to book a call with me using this link on the next page. So I want you to get a pen and paper ready, okay? Go to start.whitneynicely.com and book a free discovery call with me. And we're going to talk through your questions. We're going to talk through your concerns. We'll talk through your fears. We're going to talk through some of your dreams. And we're going to work together to make sure that your real estate advantage is really going to be your real estate advantage. All right. You've got lots of questions, and that is totally awesome. One other bonus that I kind of almost forgot about is there's a 2-question close that I'm going to teach you in your real estate advantage, and it's going to keep you ahead of the competition. So those other investors, those other agents, those other wholesalers in your hot sellers market, we're going to knock them to the curb, baby. We're not even going to let them come up in our territory. And I'm going to give you that when you book a call with me, okay? All you got to do is go to start.whitneynicely.com and book a call with me. It's about a 20 or 30-minute call. It's no big deal. I've got some questions for you. I want to make sure that you are cut out to be a real estate investor, because I don't want any sissies in my program. I don't want any whiny little babies in my program. I only want to hang out with action takers. So if you're an action taker and you're ready to stop making excuses and get going, then go right now to start.whitneynicely.com and book a free discovery call with me. Now, I know you've been to other events and you've done other things, but guys, those other opportunities are really just distractions that are going to keep you from hitting your monthly goals. One of the things that I'm going to work with you on is a goal sheet. And we're going to work together so that you have a 30-day action plan, so that you know what you're doing, you know why you're doing it, and you know what you're doing is bringing in results. Because I don't want you to just get into real estate investing or join my program or come to my weekend workshop and not do anything. I want action takers. I want the people who are tired of dealing with, going to a job and not having a retirement and not having the generational wealth to give on to their kids. I want action takers. I want you to go to start.whitneynicely.com. I want you to book a call with me. I want you to stop letting these excuses get in your way. I've already got the game plan for you. Your real estate advantage is waiting on you. Your sellers are waiting on you. That money that you dream about, it's waiting on you. And the first step is to go to start.whitneynicely.com and book a call with me. And I just want to reiterate, guys, I'm really nothing special, okay? Look, I'm a trucker girl. I'm from East Tennessee. I don't do Facebook ads very well. I'm a general contractor, but I don't build walls. I don't write legal documents. But I can buy a house every single week because I know that I have enough money to do any deal that I want. And I want that to become your motto in life. Unless you want to do it the hard, boring way. I would prefer, if you're an action taker, if you're a real action taker like me, then just plug it in and go. I've already gone through all the bumps and bruises. I've already figured out all the pitfalls. I've already made all the mistakes. I want you to skip that and go straight to getting deals done, getting contracts signed, buying houses, making money, honey. I mean, show me the money. Guys, it is the last chance. I want you to join me in the lazy landlord lifestyle. I want you to really realize that your real estate advantage is wrapped up in lease options. You have all the money that you need to do these deals right now. And this will work in your market. All you got to do is take the first step and go to start.whitneynicely.com. You book a free discovery call with me. We'll hop on the phone. It will really be me, okay? When you set up a call with other people, sometimes you get their secretary or an answering service or 2 or 3 different people and blah, 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 blah. Guys, you're going to get me. I'm going to call you. We're going to talk about your deals, your situation, your market, and we're going to make sure that this is a good fit for you. Because I care about you and I want action takers. I want next week or next month when I do this presentation, I want a whole new batch of success stories and I want you to be included in that list. Don't wait another minute. Don't wait on another opportunity. This is the moment and this is the opportunity. This is the white flag waving. This is when you have decided to finally take that first step and get started. Get really, really started in real estate. This time next year, you're going to be hugging my neck. And I can't wait to see you then. But I'll talk to you later this week. Go ahead, go start.whitneynicely.com and book a call with me. Ooh, let's talk about it. All right, if y'all have any questions, just go to start.whitneynicely.com and book a call. Send me your questions. Let me know what you're thinking about. I'd love to talk to you. Bye, y'all.